how is everybody doing this weekend? I hope you had a wonderful weekend. You did something fun for yourself. And now, here you are with us. And now, once again, we must apologize. It has been 3 weeks instead of 2. Sorry about that, guys. You might as well just call us the trifecta. I don't know. Yeah, life gets a little, carried away there for a minute. So, a couple housekeeping things, and then we're going to get started onto the questions, and then where we will go from there, nobody knows. It's a mystery, even to us. Okay. First off, as I just mentioned in my video where I unboxed the Diamond Art Club Advent Calendar, November is my YouTube anniversary. My channel is a year old. Woohoo! Yay! Thank you, all of you, ongoing subbies and newbies. Thank you so much for subbing in. I know you have lots of choices when it comes to crafting, especially. So thank you so much for subbing into my channel. I really appreciate all of you. Also, there is still time if you want to join the January Designer Dragons event. All you have to do is let me know you want to sign up, and then send me a picture of your canvas you want to work on by December 20th. My goal is to hit the ground running on the 1st, and we take vacation between Christmas and New Year's every year. It's the only week we take off all year, so I'm planning to do a whole lot of nothing and diamond painting. So please get it out here by the 20th. Cindy Shelton, if you are listening, I did get you signed up, so you are official. You're on the paper. Any of the rest of you that would like to, please join. I will go over the names that I have in the next couple of videos to come. Also, I did go over that there is going to be a giveaway. Our friends at New Craft Day have offered 3 $10 gift cards to be used on their site. So we will do that giveaway. There will be 3 drawings for $10 gift cards. You have to be registered on their site. So if you've not ordered from them, there'll be a link in the description, so you can go ahead and scoot on over there and put in your info, because they're going to need your email address. And if you win, they're going to try to match the email address that I give them with the one already on their site. You don't have to order anything right now, but you just need to register your email address on their website. So again, there will be a link just for that purpose in the description. If you've already ordered from them, you should already be in the system. You might want to check and make sure, but you should if you've ordered from them. All right, if you're wondering what kind of items they have, I've done several unboxings for them. You can go ahead and look back through the videos, select which one you'd like, and see some of the stuff they have to offer. I have had no problem with the quality of their items, so yeah, and I think you can get 1, maybe 2 items with a $10 gift card, so well worth it. And then what I will do is, in a coming video, I'm going to give you a word to use in a sentence in the comment section if you want to join the giveaway. Okay. All right. I think that's most of the housekeeping information. Let us know in the comment section, what are you guys doing for Thanksgiving? You traveling? You cooking? How many people you having? You having, 3 or 4? Or are you having 30 or 40? What's it going to look like for you this holiday? All right. Well, we're going to keep going with this canvas. One of these days, it's going to be finished. Haha. Okay, we do have your questions from last time. There were only a couple of you really that had questions. So we'll start with that, and then we will just sort of organically move on to whatever comes next. So, say hello, Niels. I don't think I'm hiding you somewhere.
Hello, Neil.
Oh, there you go.
Hope you guys are doing well and had a good Halloween. We had 0 trick-or-treaters.
Yeah, it was really sad. First time ever that we've been here. We've had, except COVID. That was the only other time that we didn't have even a single one. So yeah, it was depressing. No cute little costumes came to the door.
I didn't get to shoot paintballs at anybody.
So there you go. Yeah, it was sad.
Okay, I guess we will get started with this.
Okay.
first up is Denise Hudson.
Hey, Denise. What's up, girl?
She says, "Hi, Wendy and Neil. I truly love your WIP N'Chats.
Oh, thank you.
Loved your story about your cruise. Sounds nice. I love the ocean, but wouldn't like to be in the middle of all that water.
It's a little disconcerting. It is.
Not doing anything for Halloween, but I'm sure my daughter will be with my grandson and have him over. He's going as Woody."
Oh, cute. How old is he? Go ahead.
I don't know if you can answer this, but this is for you because I don't know. I don't remember. Do you know where this girl is now? I don't know what girl she's talking about.
I think I do. Keep going.
Must have been terrible for all of you. Did her father go to jail? Did you have to testify? Where was her mother when she was being abused?
Okay. I can talk about it because I have not given you any names and will not be giving you any names. She actually has done fine. She ended up about 2 years later. She moved back in with her mother. Her mother, the reason she wasn't around is after this abuse from her father happened, her mother checked herself into rehabilitation, drug rehab, for a prescription drug addiction. So that's why she wasn't home, and so and they didn't have any other family aside, just her mom and her dad. And so, and what ended up happening, she was 4 when she went into care. She was 5 when this incident happened. The reason that he was taken away, and yes, he was prosecuted. He was actually out on his own recognizance, which none of us felt was a good idea, but because she was supposed to be safe in foster care and he wasn't supposed to know where she was, his attorney allowed him to be released on his own recognizance. So we were all waiting to go back to court when this happened. So, but the way it was discovered, and forgive the graphicness of this, but the little girl, they thought she had strep. She kept complaining of a sore throat, put her on antibiotics, sent her back to school. She still complained of the sore throat. They did other testing, and it was discovered that, now remember, 4 years old, she had gonorrhea of the throat and signs of sexual abuse having gone on with her. So that's what started everything. It did, finally, I think, her mother had some surgeries that were unsuccessful. So she was on pain medication routinely. Well, the problem with pain medication is sometimes that gives you a whole nother set of troubles, which is what happened to her. And I don't think she would have admitted it, except that when it was discovered, her pediatrician, of course, called Child Protective Services. Went out, talked to the girl, talked to the dad, talked to the mom, and went to the police. Police talked to the little girl, determined that her father was the culprit. Actually had to have him tested to confirm the STD, which they did. So all of that, to say that, yeah, we had already been to an arraignment. Trial date was set. I don't know why he bothered to fight it. I guess he just thought it'd be fun to waste taxpayer money. I don't know. It's not like he could have gotten out of it, really. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he was trying to plead down. I don't know. So when I got the phone call, yeah, I was torn between fear for my friend, anger about the fact that he'd been let out, more anger about the fact that he had found out where this child was and was now harassing her foster mom. So, yes, mom did finally, she did kick her habit. And you know, really, which was fortunate. I mean, she adores her. She's a good mom when she's sober. So yeah, she finally did get her back. She has grown up. She's graduated high school and is looking forward to going to college when last I spoke, which has been, oh, I don't know, 7 or 8 months ago, since I heard from my friend, the foster parent, and I also knew her caseworker, but her caseworker has retired, so yeah, that's a whole nother thing. So they did pick him up the day I was still there when they arrived to get him, and took him back to jail because that was a violation of, being on your own reconnaissance means you're supposed to keep your act together until you get back to court, lest you be detained. So that's what they did. They put him in pretrial detainment in jail and kept him there till the hearing, by which he was in, it was additional charges because, of what had transpired while he was out. And so he ended up going to prison for much longer than he probably would have because of extenuating circumstances, and is on a no contact rule with the girl until she's at the age of majority and can decide for herself whether or not she wants to have any kind of relationship with him. So, and yes, I did testify, and I was fine with that. I never say anything that I'm uncomfortable saying in court. Happy to do that. A lot of people get a lot of anxiety. It doesn't bother me at all because I will back up whatever I say. If I'm not going to back it up, I'm not going to say it. So yes, I did testify, and I also went, moral support for my friend. So yeah, so he will be in prison for a very long time. I mean, she'll probably be married with children by the time they're even thinking about parole for him. So yeah. And the problem is because she was so young, I mean, we don't even know for sure when it started because she couldn't really, testify to it. I mean, her first memory of it was when she was 4. So we don't know, did it start when she was 2? Did it start when she was 1? We don't know. So, but yes, so he is in a penitentiary and out of her face and out of her life and out of her mom's life. So, permanently, unless she decides to allow him in. So, and yeah, he will be under, if and when he ever gets out, he will not be, there will be an automatic, I'm sure an automatic restraining order. So yeah, he's done. That doesn't mean the damage wasn't severe and probably going to be most of her life. I mean, I'm glad that when it was discovered, it was also stopped. He never got an opportunity to hurt her again. So, I mean, if you can say there's a silver lining, I don't think there really is when it comes to child abuse. But she did get court-ordered counseling. I think it was a good thing. To my understanding, she stayed in counseling, which, again, I think was appropriate. When young children, let's say under 5, have to face that level of abuse and that much of a violation to their young bodies, even if they seem to be okay after they get therapy and whatnot, the problem is when they become teenagers, a lot of that stuff resurfaces and bad things happen if it's not dealt with. So fortunately, my friend did have her in her home 2 more years. So she got a good running start on therapy for her. And I think that it'll be fine. If it was successful, I think she's going to be okay. And, hopefully she will continue ongoing therapy, at least periodically as an adult. I mean, I think having a therapist is a real luxury. I really do. I mean, can you imagine somebody devoted to you for a whole hour a week, just you and nobody else but you? I think that that's a wonderful thing. So hopefully, her life will iron out. I think it's great that she was able to have her mom. I think it's great that mom was sober, and has remained sober. So that's been nice. I know that she still has chronic pain. She has chronic health issues. So I don't know what she's doing for pain now, but she's not taking a medication that can cause addiction. And they do test her for that, because once you have a drug history, chances are you're going to be checked. So they checked her randomly a couple, 3 times a year, and kept her independency court for the first couple, 2 or 3 years, just to make sure that they could monitor her and that there wasn't going to be a relapse and they weren't going to have to step in. So, I mean, the one thing I will say about the state of Oregon is they really are pretty good about, not all states are, but they are. California is pretty good too, but there's just so many hands in the soup here because there's so many people that it gets to be a little bit much sometimes. But yes, she was, I think, one of the lucky ones, because not only did she get to go home, and that doesn't happen as often as they'd like you to believe, but she came home to a mom who is clear-eyed and sober and, understands what has happened and her role in it. And so, yeah, I think that they're going to have a happy ending to their story. At least I hope so. And yes, Dad will be in prison for a long time. So a couple of decades anyway, before he's eligible for parole. So yeah, by having extenuating circumstances, meaning his behavior while he was out on his own reconnaissance, that doubled his what would have been not very lengthy a stay, unfortunately. But because of how he acted, it's going to be nice and lengthy. So I am 100% okay with that. So yes, so that was what I have heard. Haven't heard about her recently, but that's actually a good thing, because I still have some networking going on there, and truth be told, if things had gone really south, word has a way of spreading, and I would have heard something. So yeah, so she's getting ready to go to college in the fall. Last I knew, she was in the midst of applying to different colleges in the country. So yes, it all turned out, to be okay. But yeah, there are some people that are just that do some really vile things. And again, I tend to have some blinders on about, my own safety. I mean, it was a stupid thing for me to walk into, especially without reinforcements, because, he could have taken me out. I mean, if he'd had a gun, I wouldn't be here talking to you today, I'm sure, because he was bound and determined to take her and leave with her. So, but all I saw was red. As soon as I knew who it was and what was happening, and I could hear the edge of panic in my friend's voice, I was like, oh, no, you are not going to get away with that. And so there I went, bull in a china shop, to go insert myself where I had no business being. But, like I said before, I think when it comes to animals and children, that should be everybody's responsibility. And so I happened to be in a position where I was in my car, I wasn't that far away, and it was, and I felt like if I couldn't help the situation, I could maybe stabilize it a little bit and give the police time to get there. So that's what ultimately ended up happening, and everybody came out of it okay, and he was cuffed and thrown in a car, and she saw that too, and that was important because it allowed her to believe us when we said, hey, he's not going to be back out, so you're going to be okay. Had she not seen that, I don't know, if we had taken her somewhere, I don't know if she would have believed us, because that was the other thing I thought about, was just going to the house and taking her and not returning until I could verify he was gone. But as it is, it turned out, in our favor. But yeah, it wasn't one of my my more thought through moments, but yeah, I figured I was going to be able to bear witness regardless. Might be my last breath, but hey, that's what it took. That's what it took. I wasn't about to let him walk off with that little girl. It wasn't going to happen. So yeah, that's how it went. But yeah, she's doing really well. Her mom's doing really well. Dad will be in prison for a very long time. And, they know where to go if they need help. So I think it's all positive. And as far as I know, she maintains contact with my friend who was her foster mother. So yeah, it's all good. So thanks for the question.
Yeah. Jail stories can be interesting. I can say that from personal knowledge. Only worked in one for most of my Army career for 20 years.
Well, do you want to share some stories?
Oh, sure. I can share stupid prisoner stories.
Why don't you talk to them first about what your role was and what your rank was? I don't think you've told them.
Oh, well, I was trained as a military policeman and a corrections officer. Most of my career I spent working in the jails. I enlisted in the service the first time in 1969 when the draft was going on, and I figured they would pick me up in the draft, and I was interested in the military anyway. So I went ahead and enlisted, much, I'm sure, to my mother's chagrin,
I'm sure.
because, you know, Vietnam was going full force at that time. But I never went to Vietnam. The only place I went overseas in 20 years was the Panama Canal Zone. I spent 3 lovely years down there, and boy, I couldn't wait to get back to the States. Anyway, so when I was stationed at Fort Benning, Georgia, I was there from 79 to 81, and I worked on the guard shift there for, I don't know, 2 years at least. And our segregation area was down in the basement, and we'd have, I don't remember, at least 6 cells, maybe 8 cells that we used all the time, though there was probably 20, 25 cells down there, individual cells. And I remember we had these 2 prisoners locked up down there, and they were just being stupid. One was saying how he was Jesus, and the other one was saying how he was the devil, and they just go back and forth about it. Pretty stupid.
Let me guess, were they in for drug-related charges?
I have no idea. I do remember that, now I don't think it was these 2 prisoners, but one of the prisoners that was down there was giving us a lot of trouble, and I had written him up a couple of times. And after he got released for whatever reason it was, I'm assuming he got time in jail from a court-martial. At that time, if you got a sentence of 6 months or less, you did the time in the confinement facility on the post where you were sentenced. So this guy made a complaint to the Inspector General at the post,
Against you?
Not against me specifically that I know of, but I got called into the IG's office to talk to the colonel about this guy, and I remember he had a report that I had written, and before he asked me questions about it, I said to him, "Can I read this first?" Because I didn't remember what I had written, of course. So I read it, and after I finished, all he asked was, "Did you write this?" And I said, "Yes." But yeah, people get put in jail for various stupid things. When I was stationed in Panama, I had worked in the confinement facility for probably, I don't know, 6-8 months, something like that. And we had very few prisoners. And so they were sending some of us over to the regular MP company to work the road there. And, you know, I got to know people in that unit. And after I was there 10 months, I re-enlisted in the confinement officer specialty, and I drew a bonus, and because I had re-enlisted and drawn a bonus, they had to send me back over to the jail to work in the job skill that I had drawn the bonus for. So I was there, I don't know, 3 or 4 months, and we got this new prisoner in who was from the MP company that I had just left. And I knew who the guy was. I didn't know him very well, but I knew who he was. And so what had happened is he had a girlfriend that he had met that worked for the Panama Canal Company, generally just called the Pan Canal Company.
And this is back when we were part of the Panama Canal, right?
Yes, that's back when we had possession of the Panama Canal. So this was, I was there from 75 to 78, so this was 77.
Okay.
So this one night, he had gone to the NCO club. He wasn't a sergeant, he was only a Spec 4, E4. And he'd gotten drunk, and he was going over to this girl's house, and he gets in the apartment and goes in the bedroom and gets undressed and gets into the bed, and this woman rolls over, and it's not who he expected.
God.
It was some 50-year-old lady, and he's, you know, in his 20s. And about that time, her husband comes out of the bathroom.
Oh, God.
And he grabs his clothes and runs.
Smartest thing he did the whole night.
They, apprehended him. And he was charged with attempted assault, attempted rape, and breaking and entering. And they did a court martial on him and convicted him. And they gave him 8 years confinement, reduction to lowest enlisted grade, loss of all pay and allowances, and a bad conduct discharge.
Wow. They pretty much flushed him is what they did.
Oh, yeah. And we ended up taking him to the disciplinary barracks at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. So that's one stupid prisoner story.
Surely you have another.
Oh, God, yes.
I'm sure they're riveted. Go ahead.
So this is still in Panama. And I was on a prisoner escort. We had 4 prisoners, and there was myself and another guard. The other guard was not a military policeman. He was an infantryman, but he got to go on the escort or shipment, whatever you want to call it, because his wife worked in the provost marshal's office on the Atlantic side of the canal. So we flew out of Howard Air Force Base in Panama and landed at Charleston Air Force Base in Charleston, South Carolina. We got in there about 10 at night, something like that. And we put the prisoners in their confinement facility overnight. And we went to a transit quarters and got some sleep. And about, 8 o'clock, 7:30, something like that, the next morning, the security police were there knocking on our door to have us get up, get dressed, and go get the prisoners out of the confinement facility because they wouldn't feed them for whatever unknown reason.
Good God.
And so we got them and took them to breakfast, and then we went back to the security police station, and they took us over to the other side of the airfield where the commercial airport was there in Charleston. And we were going to get on a plane to Kansas City. Now, one of the prisoners, he had been court-martialed for being AWOL. That's absent without leave. So he took off for however long he was gone.
Okay.
And they got him back and court-martialed him and sentenced him to like 8 months, something like that. So we were escorting these people to the correctional activity at Fort Riley, Kansas. And I had talked to this guy in length while we had him confined there in Panama. And he had been a medic, and he wanted, when he got finished with his time in the service, he wanted to go to school, go to medical school to become a doctor. And he was asking me, you know, what I thought about that, you know, if this would, you know, affect his opportunity to do that. And
Probably.
I told him that, you know, a military conviction is a federal conviction, and that I didn't think the American Medical Association would look kindly on that. And so he would talk about this to the other prisoners, and they would, what's a nice way to put it, harass him about it. So we're on the plane, on the ground in Charleston. And now, when we get on the plane with prisoners, we go to the very back of the plane, and I had two prisoners sitting next to me, and I was sitting in the aisle, and the other guard had the same situation in the row right behind me. And so the flight was packed, all kinds of people on the flight. And the next thing I know, I hear this guy behind me saying, "I ain't taking this no more."
Uh-oh.
And the guy in the window seat is beating the heck out of the guy in the middle. And it's the guy that, the medic that I told you about. So the other guard pulls the guy out in the middle, and I get in there with this other guy, and I'm choking him out using an arm bar. And all these other passengers are enjoying the show.
I bet.
And I get him subdued and get him drug out in the aisle and get handcuffs on him. And about that time, the pilot is back there with us and is telling me that we have to leave the flight. So,
They can just throw you off, huh?
oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we get off and go back in the terminal, and I call the security police at Charleston Air Force Base to come pick us up because we got kicked off the flight. And so we go back there, and it's a couple of hours before we can go back to Charleston Airport and get on another flight.
Sorry, I was trying to...
It's okay.
Okay, here we go.
We were only able to get a flight into Kansas City. We couldn't get a connecting flight into Manhattan, Kansas, is where we would have to go to complete the trip to get to Fort Riley. So I called a friend of mine that had served with me there in Panama and had been assigned to the disciplinary barracks at Leavenworth. And I told him, you know, I'm on this prisoner shipment and I got, you know, 4 prisoners and another guard, and we're going to get into Kansas City Airport about midnight. Can you come get us? So he did.
That was nice of him.
And we get to the provost marshal's office there, to the MP desk, and want to put the prisoners in their holding cell. And the desk sergeant said, yeah, you can do that, but we're not going to watch him. You guys have to watch him. So the sergeant that was with me took the first 4-hour watch, and then I drug myself over there at 4 a.m. to watch him for the next 4 hours. And got the prisoners up, got them fed, got back to Kansas City Airport, got on the flight to Manhattan, and got to the correctional activity. And I had written a good report about what had happened and everything. And so we get there and turn the prisoners over, and this captain read my report and said, well, it looks like he was just doing some training en route. And that was it.
Jeez. Wow. So when you guys travel with prisoners, you're armed, are you not?
No.
You don't get to be armed at any time, and they had you outnumbered 2 to 1?
Yeah.
Okay, who thought that was a good idea?
Whoever wrote the regulation.
Jeez Louise.
If we needed to be armed, we would have had to been on a military flight.
So what's the protocol? Like if they, start beating up one of you guards and take off running, what do you do? Let them run?
Yeah, because we got to keep control of the other prisoners.
Man, I'm surprised they don't try to take off all the time. Jeez, scary.
Are you ready for her next question?
Sure. We still on Miss Denise?
We are.
All right, lay it on me.
If you could, would you want to live in Middle Earth or be in the universe like Star Trek and Star Wars?
Oh. Wow, that's a good question. I guess that boils down to, do you want to be in a simpler time or do you want to be in a futuristic time? I think I would go with the Star Trek, Star Wars universe. I think that would be interesting to see all the cool stuff and everything. How about you?
Well, I think I would vote for Middle Earth.
Oh yeah, you gonna go talk to the wizards, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, the thing about that, I almost said Middle Earth, is then I could see dragons.
That's true.
That'd be really cool. So, it does have its perks. No question about that.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Denise, for your questions.
Good questions, Denise.
Now, let's see. How do I get out of here? All right. Our next remarks are from Master of Jedi.
Hey, Jedi Master. How you doing, lady?
She says, "Hey guys, Fab Chat. I did have a pair of horrible jeans that were considered trendy over here. They were stonewashed with cartoon characters on the knee, but I had Fred Flintstone on mine. We don't take part in Halloween. It's not much of a big thing over here in the UK.
Oh.
I like doing random acts of kindness, even if it's just letting a person go in front of me at checkout because they have just one item, or even opening a door for someone at the shops.
Mm-hmm.
I will have to pick a dragon canvas out soon. I mean, it's nearly November already.
Yeah, girl.
I would love to go on a cruise. It sounds so much fun. Anyway, here are some questions. Do you believe there are guardian angels out there?
I think there's something out there. I mean, whether you call it, a guardian angel, whether you call it, intuition, whether you call it, good fortune or blessings or chance. I think that there is a lot of times that, we sometimes purposefully and sometimes incidentally turn left when we were thinking about turning right. And so we missed the car crash that we would have been in. So, yeah, I think there's a reason that we randomly do that. I don't know exactly what's behind it, but I like the term guardian angel. I'm okay with that. Something's helping you out. I don't think it matters what it's called as long as it's helping you out, right? I'm sure if it is actually probably, ours are probably exhausted and drinking heavily by now. But, yeah. So, I think that there are too many things that we call a quote-unquote coincidence, and can't really explain it, but something comes together and changes whatever path we were taking to do, and we do something else. And sometimes that was an important thing to do because we would have been in a bad situation had we not done that, even if it's something we never do, 9 times out of 10. And then that 10th time we went, I'm not going to take that street home today. I'm going to go around this way. Maybe I'll go to Walmart first. Maybe I'll do, you know what I mean? So you do something else, and it turns out to be a very good thing that you did because something happened. So, yeah, I think there's a reason we do that. I don't know who's putting that bee in our bonnet, but I think periodically we just need to say thank you to the universe and let it go to whoever it's intended for, because, anytime you can catch a break like that, my God, catch that break.
Yeah, I believe in angels. I suppose it could also be contributed to karma, good or bad.
Mm-hmm. Is that your Christian faith, or do you think it's something else that makes you believe in them?
Yeah, mostly I think, yeah.
Nice. Have you ever been visited by one?
No.
Okay.
Okay, next question. What is one item you treasure most from a loved one, like maybe a necklace or even a mug?
Oh, okay. I have my parents' wedding rings, which they had custom made with from white and yellow gold with some symbols around it. They were both Taurus, so they have a little icon in them engraved that's a little bull, and then they've got a couple other symbols that mattered to them, and then there's an infinity sign. They felt like, their love affair would be never ending. So I have both of them, and I don't know if I'm going to make earrings out of them or maybe have a necklace made at some point, but yeah, I like I like them because they have them custom made, so there's none like it in the world. It's uniquely them, and I love that. And I came close to not having my dad's because the quote unquote skilled nursing facility, and boy do I use that term loosely. Oh man, misplaced them, both his wedding ring and his watch. Just don't know. You sure he was wearing it when he was admitted? Yes, he was. Here's the picture of him when he was admitted. See that on his finger? That would be his wedding ring. Well, yeah, I mean, we'll look around, but yeah, nobody seems to know. I said, okay. You can let your staff know that we will be popping out in and out unannounced, and that we'll know it instantly if we see it, because it's a custom-made ring and we have the matching ring. So, yeah, if we're anywhere in the county and see it, we will know that that's what it is. Oh, okay. Next day, I get a phone call. Oh, we found it. Apparently, it was on the nurse's cart. I bet it was. So I did get it back, and I do have it, and I'm really glad. I spent so many years, my parents were married 53 years. And so I spent so many years looking at those rings on their fingers that I like having them. It makes me happy. So, your turn, dear.
Well, the one thing that I have that is a memento to me, I guess I'd say. But you're going to think it's weird when you find out what it is. It was my grandfather's. And I remember looking at it and admiring it from the time I was, God knows, 7, 8 years old probably. And it is a rifle. It was my grandfather's.
Well,
And
give the stats on it.
it is a unique rifle. It is a 1917 Eddystone, which means it was made in 1917 at the Eddystone Arsenal in Pennsylvania by the Remington Company for our soldiers in World War I.
Does it still fire?
Oh, yes. It is chambered in .30-06, and I have fired it a couple of times. And
how was it for accuracy?
it was pretty good with iron sights. I have put a scope on it since. And it seems like a very good rifle. It's kind of cumbersome, but all in all, it's a good rifle.
Nice. Is that the one you want to go to your son if and when you should pass first?
Yeah,
Okay.
if we can find him.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay, last question. Have you ever snuck into a club or bar being underage?
So, yeah, when I was in my, late teens, 16, 17, 18 in there, we used to hang out and go to this place that was kind of a bar and grill kind of a thing. And so one day we were just kind of sitting around and at the counter flirting with the bartender. who really should have asked how old we were, because, yeah, we were underage. We were jailbait totally. And all of a sudden I hear one of my friends go, "I'll have whatever's on draft." We looked at her, and she gave us a glare like, "Don't you dare laugh." And so we didn't laugh. And she got a beer. And then, so they said, "Well, what will you guys have?" So, we said, "Oh, we'll have the same." So there we were, sitting there drinking alcohol, which we should never have been doing. But, we looked older. I mean, we really did. We were definitely, we looked like adults. So, yeah, we got into a little bit of trouble. I mean, no, it was not a problem. Everybody was fine. But, I mean, thank goodness. Because, we were also panicked that we all actually got a beer. We didn't dare have more than one. And so nobody was, drunk or anything. So everybody got home safely. But, yeah. Yeah, once or twice. Okay, your turn, dear. Did you ever go in underage?
Oh, yeah. When I was 17, probably was, I got into CB radio, and when I was driving by the time I was 17, a little late for my age group, but things happened and I didn't get my license till I was 17. So after I graduated high school, actually a few months before I graduated, I had a job at McDonald's, and I worked the evening shift from we closed at 11. I started at 4 p.m., but by the time we got things cleaned up and everything, it was midnight before we got out of there. And so from midnight until, I don't know, 2, 3 in the morning, I'd be out there in my truck on my CB radio, and I made a friend through the CB who was 27, and I was 18 at the time, and he worked at a loan company, but he was a musician. He was a very good pianist, and I mean, he played everything by ear. He didn't read music. If he heard it, he could play it. So he drank a lot. His CB handle was the Music Man, but we called him the Music Lush. And
he liked to imbibe, I take it.
Oh God, yes. He'd sit. Now he still lived at home with his parents, and he would sit in his driveway in his car, and next to the driveway was a bunch of ivy, and he would sit in his car and drink beer, and then he'd throw the beer bottle into the ivy, and it got to be a thing to see if you could hit another bottle in the ivy.
Good God.
And anyway, he got me into 2 or 3 different bars on occasion when I was 18. So that's the name of that tune. And that is our time for this WIP N'Chat.
Well, did we get all the questions?
We did.
Oh, nice. Well, that was timely of us. Look at that. Who'd have thunk it? Well, guys, that was a fast hour. We have missed you guys. It was good to sit and chat with you guys. Hope that you're having a great weekend and you have a nice start to your week. It's almost Thanksgiving. Everybody gonna have time off? That would be a good thing, huh? Hopefully. And then it's gonna be the big whole Christmas rush thing. So, have you started your Christmas shopping yet? I'm getting to I'm almost finished, but yeah, it's been kind of a, you know, it got on me a little early, well, a little late for me, but you know, still early, but for me, I mean, I usually collect all year, so by the time September, October rolls around, I'm already finished. All I have to do is wrap stuff. Yeah, not so much this time. So that's been a bit challenging, but yeah. So we hope that you guys are having a really nice, peaceful time. It's been a little crazy out there. I mean, since the election, things have been fascinating. So take care of yourselves, please, because we want you guys to all be good and fine and happy and looking forward to Christmas. And let us know what you're going to be doing. You're going to be with family and friends? Are you going to be hosting anything? Do you have family traditions? What do you do for the holidays? Anything you wanted to add, dear?
Come help me drag our tree in.
Oh my God, yes. And we're talking just from our shed into the house, which isn't that far really, but it's got a couple stairs in the way, and it's going to be a thing.
And I ain't as young as I used to be.
Yeah, we're probably going to need help because, that's kind of how it rolls sometimes is, you get to a point where you no longer can just, do stuff that you want to do. So it's frustrating, but that's what happens. Even if you think you can, and then you try it, and then you find out you couldn't, but you get hurt along the way. So that doesn't make it good either. So, and I want to start getting everything out early this year because my anniversary of my father's passing is December 3rd. And so, understandably, last year I wasn't at all even interested in it. And so, I feel like I missed out a lot. So, yeah. So anyway, guys, let us know in the comments what's going on with you guys. Don't forget, there will be a description there will be a link in the description box letting you know where you can go to register your email address if you're interested in winning one of the aforementioned $10 gift certificates to New Craft Day. Thank you again for hanging with us. We really missed you guys. We're going to get better about making it every 2 weeks instead of every 3. All right, guys. Take good care of yourselves. And remember, always be a dragon. Spread your wings. Protect those you love. Have fiery passion. Stay strong. Slay your fears. And always fly high, rise up, and soar. All right, everybody. We will see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye-bye.